So visibility definitely increases in a way, it gives you more trust into the system, trust with the client, gain more attractions from the client that no, if I need any information, I need not to bother about it. This is highly available. I just need to go and do this stuff. I do not need to disturb anyone. I do not need to call anyone. So visibility definitely helps us to bring more trust within the system.
Especially considering the fact that the more you move from one generation to another, right? Let's say you're talking to people in their 60s and their 50s. Their level of trust is what they consider trust is different from people in their 40s, the millennials. And those ones are also different from like the Gen Z that we're talking about, right? And I noticed that as you move from one generation to another, you notice that people have more trust in technology. Welcome to our maiden edition of the SFL Insights podcast. My name is Alhamdu, and I am the product specialist for SFL Insights. As part of our engagement with the community, we realized that there's a lot of space left for information to be shared, for experiences to be shared, and for crosstalk within the industry itself, within the shipping industry, especially in the visibility market, right? Since the world is moving more towards automation and digital automation, and visibility is one of those solutions that we have. So as part of that, we decided to create a podcast where we discuss with industry leading minds and industry thinkers, and we get their perspective on the changes that are happening, what's happening in the future, how they got there. And that way, we all collectively learn and we move better. So with me here is Raman, and Raman is heading our SFL Hub. I will leave him as well to do more of the introduction, and he will tell us basically how he got here and what his journey was like in the industry. So Raman, over to you.
Yeah. So thanks, Alamdu. Hi, everyone. So, my name is Raman. I'm currently working with SFL, and it is providing solutions in freight forwarding industry, particularly targeting the freight forwarding domain to provide the solutions. As we see, there are lots of opportunities in this domain because of the varied difficulties, or this industry is basically untouched in terms of the IT solutions available in the market. It is growing over a period of time, but definitely we saw this opportunity 5 years back, and from there on we started working on this industry with different solutions, building solutions and breaking solutions. And so in terms of my my background, I major in technology. So I'm a computer science engineer, and having 10 years of experience, or more than 10 years of experience in this IT and software industry. We'll do IT servicing particularly. Okay. So we did some IT servicing, we did development for some clients, as well as we were building some products. We were making some different products out of it, making and breaking as always. So it was constantly going on for quite some time, and then we figured out that we have some idea, we have some pain points of the client. Based on those consulting ideas, consulting knowledge, and as well as combining the technology, we found that we have this idea of SFL Insight. There we can add value to the client, because people are doing lots of heavy tasks, lots of things. There are lots of energies which are exchanged, wasted in terms of getting insight into those data, and So that's how we
Yeah.
started building this SFL Insight.
What were the opportunities that you saw in the market, especially looking into the shipping market, the freight forwarding market? What were those opportunities you saw, those pain points that you saw, you thought you could solve using technology? And maybe if you can just elaborate on how you guys decided to tackle that issue.
You know, so you know, we all are doing our own task right now. So in a company, we all are doing, and everybody is happy. But the thing is, you give one task after another task after another task. If you keep growing the task, you do want to know what happened with the first task, what happened with the second task, is it completed, is
Yeah.
it not completed? And we saw that there is a lack of technology which can provide the visibility to that level, and we see that because of this visibility issue, the client do not have the visibility across for their shipments. What happens is they constantly either they make a call to you, they email to you, constantly chasing about the status, the updates,
Yeah.
and we see that there is an opportunity here to solve this pain point, because there is a lots of energy is getting wasted. Every company have their own CRM within the company to manage the data, but they do not have the mechanism to tell their client what is happening with their shipment. They either they are
Yeah.
using their different mechanisms of informing them, but there wasn't any best way to do this. And also we found that there are different platforms across the companies which they are using, and there is no any common platform to provide some sort of solutions around those visibility. And uh, as I believe that if you have the visibility, if you see with your eye, you will definitely believe it. There is always doubt that something which is not visible, you will always doubt. Maybe
Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So visibility definitely increases the in a way, it gives you more trust into the system, trust with the client, gain more attractions from the client, that no, if I need any information, I need not to bother about it. This is highly available. I just need to go and do this stuff. I do not need to disturb anyone. I do not need to call anyone. So visibility definitely helps us to bring more trust within the system.
Especially considering the fact that the more you move from one generation to another, right? Let's say you're talking to people in their 60s and their 50s. Their level of trust is what they consider trust is different from people in their 40s, the millennials. And those ones are also different from like the Gen Z that we're talking about, right? And I noticed that as you move from one generation to another, you notice that people have more trust in technology. So maybe the older generation will prefer like having a face-to-face conversation, calling them, sending them emails, maybe, or things by mail. As you move forward into this thing, was this something that you guys noticed, or?
So yeah, so see, business is always good while you do face to face, but once business is settled out, you are not going to do you're not going to appear to the with your forwarder telling that, oh hey, I'm bringing you a new shipment. Business is already done with them. The agreements to do the business is already done. That is always face to face. That is a traditional method, and human to human interaction, that is always there. Technology definitely is helping to solve these time issues. Earlier you need to visit the office, there is a time issue, you find it out. And now you can do it like we are doing. You're coming, it's also face to face only, but not in human. We are interacting in place. It's on the virtual platform, we are meeting each other. So business is always is there, but the thing is, for every shipment, I do not have time to go and meet you and say, hey, my shipment is very important, please do put your attention on this. Rather than if I say that, okay, I'm doing a business, I believe you will do justice to my this agreement, this contract, and
Yeah.
if you can execute it without my without what to say, if you
Your
execute it
support
well
or your help.
without my help,
Yeah.
that is good enough, because you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
in a way you are not disturbing me. You know your job very well,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
this technology is helping you to sort it out.
For them to
And
carry out their business effectively, but it also sort of gives the clients the independence for them to check up on things without necessarily going through a customer care center and waiting in line and all of these things, right?
yeah, so it's it's not visibility is one part to bring more trust, to gain more
Yeah.
business, to get to engage with the customer, to give them the good
Mhm.
experience. But
Yeah.
there is a second thing also. There is a lots
Mhm.
of data you generate out of these shipments, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and these raw data are lost when you do with the paper.
Makes sense.
So when you bring this data, you know, today data is your fuel, you know. So
Yeah.
you need to
Basically.
you need to use it. You can't waste it.
Yeah.
So once we
Yeah.
are coming on a virtual platform, when we are coming on a kind of a SFL Insight kind of a portal,
Mhm.
where we are capturing all those data, we do
Mhm.
give you good insights into your shipments, into your
Yeah.
by analyzing those data,
Yeah.
and that is what will be a added on value. That is what you are looking for. You are doing business for several years, but how to grow
Yeah.
it, how to concentrate, which part is stronger, which part is weaker, how to figure out, and that figuring out the stuffs can be done with the help of technology. So
Yeah.
technology is no doubt helping you to grow. Eh,
Mhm.
and these days data is more precious, and this technology,
Mhm.
while we are building these kind of technologies, we are trying to build the systems that add value to the client. It's not that we only
Yeah.
want to do some fancy stuff for the client. It's also
Yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
to give them the insight so that they can better organize their uh, shipments, and in a way they grow their business. If they grow their business, definitely I'll be growing my business also.
I mean, considering you came from a computer science background, so I'm guessing a lot of what you did had to do with probably like you were more into let's code. If there's a problem, how can we break it down and then let's code. Um, my question is, I know a lot of business people, especially in the freight forwarding industry, in the shipments industry. It's a very hands-on. It can also be a very hands-on industry, right? So, for instance, you have the warehousing part of it. You have the freight, like you have people who offload from the docks. You have the customs aspect of it. You have all of these disparate things that usually happen on site, right? That's even outside of the visibility and the track and trace and all of these things. The question is, how were you able to, get into the industry knowing that I can tell that you came from more of a software background, so you're more in front of a computer. How were you able to kind of gain the experience necessary for you to translate that into software?
So when we started, as I said, we were doing more IT stuff rather than building a product. You know,
Yeah.
so while building those IT products for the client, uh, we were doing lots of requirement gathering, and as well as since SFL Hub is part of SFL, and SFL Hub is part of
Yeah.
one ecosystem, there is a consulting part
Yeah.
of also in this industry for us.
Hmm.
So those consulting people, when we do not able to solve the business problem, not the technology problem, but the business
Hmm.
problem, we do not able to
Yeah.
understand it, we reach out to the consulting people. You know,
I see.
so
I see. I see.
it's the better way to approach a problem. You have a consultant
Yeah.
who are delivering the services to the freight forwarding industry. So
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely there are different good CRM softwares, But
Yeah.
in terms of the visibility, and because there are different peoples, they have different roles to play in that particular shipment, and they
Yeah.
have limitations to see the data, you know. So that need to be protected also. Unknowingly, you
Understood.
do not share the data to somebody who is not eligible to view it. So
To view
when
it, yeah.
yeah, so when we s- wh- which so coming back to your problem, when we started it, we did lots of IT jobs, we did lots of IT solutioning. We try to gather more and more requirement from the client. We build our understanding based on those knowledges, as well as there was a company, SFL, who is more into the consulting. We
Yeah.
started asking more questions because SFL Hub came out of SFL only. So
Absolutely.
there was a opportunity for us to gain the information and knowledge from them, because as you said, I was truly a computer science guy. um,
Yeah.
I do not know anything about the business, so it was initially it was really hard to understand why this and that. But in terms of the requirement, also it was not very straightforward to build the stuffs.
Mm.
So
So you had to keep learning and learning and figuring it out as you
till
go.
date, it's till date
Yeah.
I'm
I
understanding this
yes.
industry.
Yes.
Sometimes sometimes I think if whether this industry has adopted me or I have adopted the industry.
Not
Is it
that I see.
is it anyway it's working or not? Because there are
Yeah.
lots of variables. I'm saying one is, as you mentioned, there is warehouse, there is freight forwarding, there is customs. Uh,
Yeah.
so and when you bring accounting in between, it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, there is finance
Yeah.
also in this,
Absolutely.
and that is
Absolutely.
that is the
Absolutely.
heart of the system. You know,
That's true. And then there's
so
also the sales aspect of it as well. So yeah, it's all
sales,
very
yeah. So
yeah.
it's like, so definitely it's a more learning experience. Uh, we That's why I said we are building and breaking the stuff rather than keep building only.
Based on not just your experience, I mean, in life generally, we're always trying to look forward, right? To look into the future and see what are those problems that we don't see as problems now, but eventually 5 years down the line, we need to kind of start thinking about that, right? I think it was Steve Jobs that says, like, I do not go where the puck is. Like I do not go where the puck is. I go to where the puck is going. So, like, I just want to ask, um, like, where do you think the technology industry is heading, and especially how important is it for? Uh, do you think is it for freight forwarders to adopt, the new technology or the new wave towards automation, in terms of visibility as well?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, when we started before COVID, so we started 1 year earlier, and we started understanding this industry. And before COVID, what we found is there is very uh, uh, reluctancy in adopting the technology and automation also, because they were very good in what they were doing. Even if it was a paper job only, they were happy with those paper jobs. But
Yeah.
in between, once COVID came, and after COVID, what we found is, since freight forwarding is not a today's business, I believe this is one of the ancient
Yeah.
business human civilization must have been doing.
Yeah.
It's not today's
Yeah.
business. So we are doing from
Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of years. So
Yes.
so so there is definitely there is an inertia to the change. When you want to
Yeah.
make a change, it's very difficult. So before the COVID, this was the situation. After COVID, I see that that inertia is changing. The people are moving into the technology. Earlier, people were not
Yeah.
spending much on the technology, looking at, oh, okay, this will work for us, this is working for us. But COVID somehow taught taught us that technology is the way to move forward, to move to
Move forward. Yeah.
making business valuable and solving problems. So now people are looking for more and more automation, more and more
Yeah.
robust system uh,
Yeah.
in terms of, so that they can do the business. They can concentrate on the business. I understand this once I came into this business only, that people do the business for business purpose. No, they don't do the business for technology. Unless until
Yeah.
you do not do a business with the technology, you do the business for business purpose. It's not. It's
Yeah.
There's nothing like technology. If you remove technology, also that business was running thousands of years or 500 years earlier,
Yeah.
or 200 years
Yeah.
or 50
Yeah.
years earlier. It was already running properly.
Mhm.
But this
Yeah.
technology is augmenting the stuff. It is enhancing their experience,
Yeah.
their way of doing the business. So business is always there. Now the problem with this businessmen are, these entrepreneurs are, is should we do the business or should we do the technology? You know, they
Ah,
can't
I
do the
see.
technology.
I see.
They can't do the
Yeah, I
technology and
see.
do the business. They want some
Mm.
technology providers, they want some technology solutions so that they can concentrate on
Yeah.
the business part rather than they concentrate
Yeah.
on technology and teaching their people technology
Yeah.
who are not very well versed with the
All the time.
technology
Yeah.
itself. You know, so
Fair enough. Fair enough.
so business people want that. In my opinion, what I have learned is they want to concentrate on the business. They don't want to learn your technology. You know,
Yeah.
they want the technological solutions. They want the automations to solve their problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want
Yeah.
to adopt the technology, but if you are going to teach them technology, I'm sorry, no, they are not going to learn your technology.
Fair
You
enough.
know, so
Fair
so
enough.
because
Fair
they are
enough.
not going to build the technology out of it. So
Fair
they
enough.
want the solutions in the market which are smart, which are solving their problem, which are easing
Yeah.
their work, and in a way it is adding value to their business and helping to grow the business. You know,
I understand that.
so
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
founders,
Yeah.
these businessmen, they are looking in that particular aspect, and it's a journey. So you somehow sometimes you find a solution, sometimes you don't find a solution, but you
Yeah.
keep learning and keep growing and keep finding the solution for your problem.
Mhm.
So
I
what we are
yeah.
trying to do
I think
is more with the technology. We
yeah.
are building the technology so that they don't build it. They don't go and
Mhm.
try to build the technology. They don't go and learn the technology and then build it, because for them it will be difficult, since we are well
Yeah.
versed in that technology domain. We can solve
That
the
technology. Yeah.
technology problem for them, and they can
I
utilize
see.
our built technology to solve their problem.
I see.
You know,
You enhance, like you do what you do best. So like you were, because I think initially part of what, when you started, you talked about collaboration, the importance of collaboration, right? How if you're an expert in a domain, you don't necessarily have to go to another domain and become an expert in everything, right?
no,
But the
absolutely.
best part about it is you can find someone who is good at doing technology, and as long as you can communicate with them, they will help you solve some of those things that will make your business more effective and and even more efficient in that sense, right? And that's where technology kind of comes in.
Absolutely.
I
Technology
hear.
cannot be, my personal belief is technology cannot be you. You know, technology will always be augmenting you. You know,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
capabilities. It will always enhance your capabilities, but it cannot become you. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so so definitely we require technology. We require we, we require to augment our vision, augment our understanding, so that we get better insights. This is how we are, the human race is growing up over a period of time. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. True,
so
true,
so
true, true.
technology is helping
So,
SFL Insight. We built everything with the SFL Insight, from an icon to the whole set of portal with the. So I love everything about the SFL Insight. Even we are working on something very interesting that will be added into the SFL Insight 2.0, where it will again surprise the users, and definitely will help them to really solve some of the critical problems in their current organizations, which they which 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 they might be thinking of solving it, but they are not finding it a good solution, or the some of the solutions which might be present is not that much adaptable, maybe expensive because of the nature of the job and all. So we are building some pretty uh, uh, in terms of a feature which will be loved by everyone. In terms of uh, in terms of SFL Insight, what I look for is more in terms of the user experience. So every feature is important to me, but the experience is very important to me. So once user get into the portal, they must they must how to say the word, uh, so it must give them the immersive experience with the ecosystem. They can't leave it out, they love it to come back again and again. So we are trying to build the experience so much in that terms. If you are into the technology, there is no end of learning. you know you, you keep learn. You need to be ready to learn, you know and while learning also, you need to unlearn also, because technology is
Yeah.
changing in every 6 months of time.
Yeah.
you know so
Yeah.
even if you learn it, you love it, need to sometimes you need to leave it and jump onto some new technology. So learning is what will always keep you moving in the right direction. If you
Yeah.
don't learn,
Yeah. Yeah.
so while doing your own job, own stuffs, own task, or working in a company, keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
That is only the thing which
Yeah.
will always move forward. So in terms of
Thank
technology,
you.
I'll say always learn.
Maybe just a quick recap of these things. Some of the takeaways that, for me, make sense is, particularly when you talked about data loss when you're doing paper, right? There are
Yeah.
experiences that you lose, there are data points that you're always losing. But with technology, and especially things like SFL Insights, this you get this you get all the data collected, and eventually, much later, if you want to integrate it with things like AI platforms to help you make better decisions. I think even on SFL Insights, you already have the dashboard that helps you kind of make
Yeah.
sense of some of this data. I think that's real value, and that's something that's really hard to quantify. But as you capture more of this data, you begin to understand your business even more, and where your inefficiencies are, and as you grow. So thank you. Do you have any parting words for us? Any?
So it was really nice talking to you, Alamdu. Uh,
Thank you.
thanks for organizing this, having me here on this platform. It was a really nice experience with you, doing all this talk. Definitely, i- it's more like a learning experience also, because what you do
Yeah.
in which you are very best, and definitely there is
Yeah.
always learning from from everyone with which you work, so I think
True. True.
definitely
True.
it was a really pleasure to meet you and talk to you.
Thank you. And I hope we do this again as well. Maybe in the future we'll bring you back to talk about some other things as
Absolutely.
well.
When we'll come with
Okay?
some new features, we'll definitely would like to explain you.
Thank you. That's fantastic. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and for the audience as well. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to us. If if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, follow us on our LinkedIn pages and on our YouTube pages, because we're going to be bringing in more content from industry experts as well. So thank you and have a lovely day.